The private jet touched down in Miami just as dawn broke over the Atlantic. Marcus Chen hadn't slept during the flight from Chicago. 4 days of board meetings, investment pitches, and forced smiles had drained him completely. He loosened his collar, staring through the window at the pink-streaked sky. His phone buzzed. A text from his assistant, Nina. Meeting with the architects moved to Thursday. Take the day. Spend it with Lily. Marcus exhaled slowly. Lily. His 8-year-old daughter with her mother's eyes and a smile he'd do anything to protect. He grabbed his black leather duffel from the overhead compartment and descended the stairs. The terminal was nearly empty at this hour. He preferred it that way: fewer people, fewer conversations, fewer reminders of how hollow everything felt. At baggage claim, he spotted a bag identical to his. Same brand, same scratched corner, same silver zipper pull. He reached for it without thinking twice. His mind was already home, already imagining Lily's voice calling his name. The car ride through Miami's awakening streets felt longer than usual. Palm trees swayed in the morning breeze. The city looked alive in ways he'd forgotten how to be. 3 years. That's how long it had been since Grace died. 3 years since the accident that took her on a rainy October night. 3 years since he'd locked away every feeling that wasn't necessary for survival. Everyone said time would heal. They were wrong. Time just taught you how to function while broken. The house came into view, a sprawling estate overlooking Biscayne Bay. White stone, floor-to-ceiling windows, infinity pool reflecting the morning sun. Beautiful and empty. Daddy. The front door flew open before he could reach it. Lily launched herself into his arms, her dark braids bouncing, her laughter bright enough to cut through his exhaustion. Hey, sunshine, he murmured, holding her tight. I missed you so much. Did you bring me something? He smiled despite himself. Maybe. Did you finish your homework? She nodded enthusiastically. All of it. Miss Rosa helped me with math. They settled onto the living room floor, Lily showing him her drawings, wild colors and impossible creatures, the kind of art that came from a mind still untouched by cynicism. This one's you, she said, pointing to a stick figure with a briefcase. And this is me. And this. She paused, finger hovering over a figure with wings. That's Mommy watching us. His chest tightened. He kissed the top of her head. It's perfect, baby. Later, after Lily fell asleep with a book on her chest, Marcus went upstairs to unpack. He tossed the duffel onto his bed and unzipped it. Then froze. Women's clothes. A silk scarf. Running shoes. A leather journal. A zippered pouch that clinked when he moved it. His heart kicked. He opened the pouch. Jewelry. Diamond earrings, a gold bracelet, a sapphire pendant that looked antique. Expensive. Very expensive. Damn it. He grabbed his phone immediately and called the airline. Across town, in a sunlit apartment in Coral Gables, Sofia Reyes pushed through her front door and dropped her bags with a groan. Her calves ached from standing all day. She'd been teaching at the dance studio since 7 that morning, hip-hop for kids, then contemporary for teens, then a private lesson that ran long because the student was preparing for auditions. Her Siamese cat, Luna, meowed indignantly from the kitchen counter. I know, Sofia said, scratching behind her ears. You're starving. Dramatic as always. She fed Luna, then dragged her duffel into the bedroom. Time to unpack, shower, and maybe, finally, eat something that wasn't a protein bar. She unzipped the bag. Men's clothes stared back at her. Tailored shirts. Dark slacks. A leather portfolio. What? She pulled out the portfolio. Inside were documents, contracts, financial statements, things she didn't understand but recognized as important. And beneath those, a smaller envelope. She opened it carefully. Cash. Stacks of $100 bills, neatly bundled. Sofia sat back on her heels, heart racing. She counted quickly. $20,000. Her mind spun. Rent was due. The studio's AC had died last week. Her car needed new brakes. This money could solve everything. Nobody would know. There was no name tag on the bag. She could just... No. Her abuela's voice echoed in her mind, clear as if she were standing right there. Mija, shortcuts take you nowhere worth going. Build your life with your own hands. Sofia's eyes burned. She'd lost her abuela 2 years ago to diabetes, but the woman's wisdom lived in her bones. She carefully placed everything back, zipped the bag, and reached for her phone. The airline answered on the third ring. By noon, Marcus had a name and number. Sofia Reyes. He dialed, pacing his study. Hello? Her voice was warm, slightly breathless, like she'd been moving. Miss Reyes, this is Marcus Chen. The airline said you have my bag. Oh. Mr. Chen, yes. I'm so sorry about the confusion. I have yours, and I'm guessing you have mine? I do. He paused. And I believe there's something in my bag you might want back quickly. A soft laugh. The jewelry? Yeah, that's my grandmother's. I was bringing it back from getting it appraised. When can we meet? I'm free this afternoon. I live in Coral Gables, 1247, Magnolia Avenue, apartment 6. But I can come to you if that's easier. No, Marcus said, surprising himself. I'll come to you. Say, 3 o'clock? Perfect. I'll have coffee ready. When he hung up, something felt different. Lighter, maybe. He couldn't explain it. Coral Gables was a world away from his estate. Tree-lined streets, Spanish-style buildings, flower boxes on balconies. The neighborhood had character, history, life. He found her building easily. It was modest but well-kept, bougainvillea climbing the walls and brilliant pink cascades. He rang the buzzer. The door opened, and Marcus found himself looking at a woman in a faded dance studio t-shirt and leggings, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. She had warm brown eyes, a dusting of freckles across her nose, and a smile that seemed genuinely happy to see him. Mr. Chen, she said. Come in. The apartment smelled like cinnamon and coffee. It was small, living room, kitchenette, hallway leading to what he assumed was a bedroom, but it felt alive. Plants everywhere. Photographs covering one wall. A ballet bar mounted near the window. Luna wound around his legs, purring. That's Luna, Sofia said, laughing. She's friendly. Too friendly, actually. Lily would love this cat, he thought suddenly. They exchanged bags, both checking the contents. Everything was there, every document, every dollar, every piece of jewelry. Marcus held up the envelope of cash, studying her face. You knew this was in here. It wasn't a question. Sofia met his gaze steadily. I did. You could have kept it. Nobody would have known. She shrugged, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. I would have known. That's enough. The silence that followed felt heavy with meaning. Thank you, Marcus said finally, his voice rougher than intended. She smiled. You're welcome. A small voice from behind him made him turn. Daddy? Lily stood in the doorway, having followed him from the car despite his instructions to wait. She was staring at Sofia with wide, curious eyes. Oh, Sofia said, crouching down immediately. Hi there. Who's this? I'm Lily. She stepped closer, shy but interested. You have a cat. I do. Her name is Luna. Do you want to pet her? Lily nodded, and within seconds she was sitting cross-legged on the floor while Luna rubbed against her, purring like an engine. Marcus watched them, something twisting in his chest. Lily hadn't smiled like that, open, unguarded, in months. She's beautiful, Sofia said softly, glancing up at him. She is. He paused. She doesn't usually warm up to strangers this fast. Maybe I'm not a stranger. Sofia's smile was gentle. Maybe I'm just someone she hasn't met yet. Before Marcus could respond, Lily piped up. Do you dance? Your apartment looks like a dancer's. Sofia laughed. I do. I teach dance, actually. How did you know? The bar. And your feet. Sofia glanced down at her bare feet, amused. Smart girl. Can you teach me? Lily, Marcus started. But Sofia was already nodding. If your dad says it's okay, I'd love to. Lily turned to him with pleading eyes. Please, Daddy? Please? He should say no. He should collect his daughter, thank this woman, and leave. Go back to his controlled, predictable life. Instead, he heard himself say, we'll see. As they prepared to leave, Sofia walked them to the door. Lily hugged her impulsively, a quick, tight squeeze that made Sofia's eyes shine. Thank you for finding my daddy's bag, Lily said. Anytime, sweetheart. Marcus extended his hand. I appreciate your honesty, Miss Reyes. She shook it, her grip firm and warm. Sofia. And I appreciate you coming all the way here. Their eyes held for a beat longer than necessary. As Marcus drove away, Lily chattering in the back seat about Luna and dancing and how nice Miss Sofia was, he caught himself glancing in the rearview mirror. The apartment building grew smaller, but something about it, about her, lingered. That night, after Lily was asleep, Marcus sat in his study with a glass of scotch he didn't drink. The city lights glittered beyond the window, but he wasn't seeing them. He was thinking about warm brown eyes and a smile that held no agenda. About a woman who'd had $20,000 in her hands and chose integrity instead. About the way Lily had laughed, really laughed, for the first time in weeks. He'd gone to retrieve his belongings. But he'd left thinking about something, someone, he hadn't expected to think about again. The possibility of light after years of dark. The days that followed felt different somehow. Softer around the edges. Marcus caught himself smiling at odd moments. During conference calls. While reviewing contracts. When Lily told him stories at dinner. She talked about Sofia constantly. About Luna, about the dance studio, about how Sofia said everyone has rhythm, they just have to find it. Can we visit her again? Lily asked one evening, hope lighting her face. Marcus hesitated. She's probably busy, sunshine. But you have her number. You could ask. He did have her number. And for 3 days, he'd been finding excuses not to use it. Because texting Sofia Reyes felt like opening a door he'd sealed shut. And he wasn't sure he was ready for what might come through. But Lily's hopeful eyes broke his resolve. That Friday, he sent a message. Marcus Chen here. Lily hasn't stopped talking about your cat. And dancing. Would you be free for coffee sometime? My treat. To properly thank you for your honesty. The response came faster than expected. Ha! Tell Lily that Luna asks about her too. Coffee sounds great. But only if you let me choose the place. I know this city better than any billionaire should. He smiled at his phone. Deal. When? Tomorrow morning? 9 a.m.? Corner of Miracle Mile and Galliano. Place called Cafe Alma. I'll be there. He stared at the screen for a long moment after, wondering what he'd just agreed to. And why it felt like the first real decision he'd made in 3 years. Cafe Alma was nothing like the sleek, minimalist coffee bars Marcus usually frequented. It was cozy and chaotic, mismatched furniture, local art on exposed brick walls, the scent of fresh-baked pastries and strong Cuban coffee filling the air. Sofia was already there, sitting at a corner table in a sundress the color of sunlight, her hair loose around her shoulders. She waved when she saw him. You found it, she said as he sat down. Your directions were good. He glanced around. This place is different. Different good or different bad? Different honest. She smiled at that. It's been here forever. My abuela used to bring me here every Saturday when I was little. Best cortadito in Miami. They ordered coffee for him, café con leche for her, and pastelitos to share because she insisted. Conversation came easier than he expected. She asked about his work, and he found himself explaining private equity in ways that didn't sound lifeless. She told him about the studio, about her dream to open her own school someday, about the kids she taught who reminded her why she loved dancing in the first place. Your grandmother, Marcus said after a pause. The jewelry. You said you were getting it appraised? Sofia nodded, her expression softening. She passed 2 years ago. Left me everything she had, which wasn't much. But the jewelry, some of it came from Cuba before the revolution. It's the only connection I have to that part of my family. I wanted to know its story. I'm sorry. For your loss. Thank you. She met his eyes. What about you? Lily mentioned her mom in the car the other day. Mommy's watching from heaven, she said. His throat tightened. Most people avoided this topic, uncomfortable with grief. But Sofia's gaze was steady, compassionate. Grace, he said quietly. My wife. Car accident 3 years ago. Drunk driver ran a red light. God, Marcus. I'm so sorry. The way she said his name, gentle, present, made something crack in his chest. Everyone says it gets easier, he continued, surprising himself. That time heals. But it just changes shape. The pain becomes something you carry instead of something that crushes you. Sofia reached across the table, her hand covering his briefly. That's exactly right. Grief doesn't end. It just becomes part of who you are. For a long moment, they sat in understanding silence. Two people who'd lost, who'd survived, who knew the weight of moving forward while carrying the past. When Sofia finally pulled her hand back, the warmth lingered. Lily's incredible, she said, changing the subject with practiced grace. She's got real instinct for movement. The way she watched Luna, the way she positioned herself, she's already thinking like a dancer. Marcus smiled. She's been asking about lessons. Every single day. Then bring her by the studio. No pressure, just let her try a class. See if she likes it. You're serious? Completely. I teach beginners on Wednesday afternoons. She'd fit right in. Something in her sincerity, her openness, made him nod. Okay. We'll be there. When they finally left the cafe, the morning had stretched into early afternoon. They'd talked for hours without noticing. Walking to their cars, Sofia turned to him with a smile. Thanks for coming. This was nice. It was. He paused, then added, really nice. See you Wednesday? Wednesday. As he drove home, Marcus realized something startling. For the first time in 3 years, he was looking forward to something that wasn't work or watching Lily sleep peacefully. He was looking forward to Wednesday. The dance studio sat on a busy street in Coconut Grove, sandwiched between a bookstore and a juice bar. Through the window, Marcus could see young girls in leotards stretching, laughing, moving with the unselfconscious joy only children possessed. Lily pressed her nose against the glass, vibrating with excitement. Daddy, look. They're dancing. Sofia appeared in the doorway, her smile bright. Ready, Lily? Yes. Inside, the studio was all blonde wood floors, mirrored walls, and natural light. Music played softly, something with piano and gentle strings. Other parents sat in chairs along the wall, watching their children with proud eyes. Sofia introduced Lily to the class, 6 other girls around her age, and within minutes, Lily was giggling and trying to copy the warm-up stretches. Marcus sat down, suddenly aware he was the only father there. Mothers, grandmothers, an aunt or two, but no other men. One of the moms leaned over. First class? Yeah. Lily's been talking about nothing else. Sofia's wonderful. My daughter's been coming here for a year. She's more confident, happier. It's not just dance, it's community. Marcus watched as Sofia corrected Lily's posture with gentle hands, then demonstrated a simple combination. Lily followed, stumbling at first, then finding the rhythm. And she was smiling. Not the polite smile she gave adults or the careful smile she used at school. This was pure, unfiltered joy. His throat tightened. When had he last seen her like this? The class ended too quickly. Lily ran to him, breathless and glowing. Daddy, did you see? I did a pirouette. Well, almost. But Sofia said I'll get it next time. You were amazing, sunshine. Sofia approached, wiping her hands on a towel. She's a natural. If she wants to keep coming, I'd love to have her. Can I, Daddy? Please? He looked between them, his daughter's hopeful face, Sofia's warm encouragement, and felt something shift inside him. Yeah, we'll make it work. Lily squealed, hugging him tight, then impulsively hugging Sofia too. As other families filtered out, Marcus lingered. Lily was showing another girl her new shoes, their laughter echoing off the mirrors. Thank you, Marcus said to Sofia. For this. For her. You don't have to thank me. This is what I do. And honestly? She glanced at Lily, her expression tender. She's special. You can feel it. She's all I have. The words came out before he could stop them, raw, honest, more vulnerable than he'd intended. Sofia's eyes softened. Then you have everything that matters. They stood there for a moment, the studio emptying around them, Lily's laughter the only sound. Coffee again sometime? Sofia asked quietly. Marcus nodded. I'd like that. Good. Because I would too. Weeks turned into months, and what began as gratitude became something neither could name. Marcus started attending every class, even when work demanded otherwise. He'd cancel meetings, reschedule calls, all to sit in that small studio and watch his daughter spin and leap and become herself again. But he was also watching Sofia. The way she moved through the world with such ease. The way she encouraged without pushing, corrected without criticizing. The way she made everyone around her feel seen. They fell into a rhythm. Coffee after Wednesday classes. Occasional dinners with Lily between them, chattering about school and dance and Luna's latest antics. Saturday mornings at the park where Lily practiced her turns on the grass while Sofia demonstrated and Marcus pretended he wasn't staring. His team noticed the change. You're different, Nina said one afternoon, reviewing quarterly projections. Different how? Lighter. You actually laughed during the board meeting yesterday. Scared half the executives. Marcus smirked. Maybe I'm finally going crazy. Or maybe you're finally living again. He didn't respond, but the word stayed with him. It happened on a Thursday evening, unexpected and inevitable all at once. Lily had a sleepover at her best friend's house, the first one she'd agreed to since Grace died. Marcus dropped her off, kissed her goodbye, and found himself driving not home but to Coral Gables. To Sofia's apartment. He texted from the parking lot. I know this is random, but are you free? Her response came quickly. Define free. I'm currently covered in paint because I thought refinishing furniture was a good idea. Come up anyway? He took the stairs 2 at a time. She answered the door in paint-splattered overalls, hair tied back with a bandana, a streak of blue across her cheek. Don't judge me, she said, laughing. I saw this dresser at a thrift store and got ambitious. I'm not judging. He stepped inside, and the familiar warmth of her space wrapped around him. I just wanted to see you. Something in his tone made her pause. Marcus? Lily's at a sleepover. First one in 3 years. And I didn't want to go home to an empty house and sit in silence until I convinced myself I was fine. Set down her paintbrush, her eyes never leaving his face. You don't have to be fine. Not here. And something in him broke open. He told her everything. About Grace, the way she laughed, the way she made him believe in impossible things. About the accident, the hospital, the moment he realized she was gone. About the 3 years of functioning without feeling, of protecting Lily while drowning himself. About how empty everything had been until a luggage mix-up brought a dancer with honest eyes into his life. Sofia listened without interrupting, her presence steady and safe. When he finally stopped talking, his voice hoarse, she said simply, "Thank you for trusting me with that. You make it easy." They sat on her couch, Luna purring between them, the evening light fading to blue through the windows. "Grace sounds like she was an amazing person," Sofia said softly. "She was. And she'd want you to be happy, Marcus. She'd want you to live, not just survive." He looked at her then, really looked at her. At the kindness in her eyes, the strength in her posture, the way she existed in the world without pretense or armor. "What if I don't remember how? Then we figure it out together." The words hung in the air, a promise and a question. Marcus reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. But she didn't. His hand cupped her cheek, thumb brushing away that streak of blue paint. "Sofia. Yeah? I think I'm falling for you." Her breath caught. "You think?" "I know." His voice dropped to a whisper. "And it terrifies me." She leaned into his touch, her eyes shining. "It terrifies me too. But maybe that's how we know it's real." When he kissed her, it was gentle, tentative and full of promise. Like learning a language he'd forgotten. Like remembering what hope felt like. They broke apart slowly, foreheads touching, breathing the same air. "I'm not Grace," Sofia whispered. "I know. I don't want you to be. And I can't fix what's broken. You're not here to fix anything. You're just here. And that's enough." She smiled then, tears slipping free, and kissed him again. The months that followed felt like waking up. Marcus introduced Sofia properly to his world, dinners at restaurants that made her raise her eyebrows at the prices, galas where she wore borrowed jewelry and made him laugh during boring speeches, yacht parties where she taught Lily and half the guests a salsa routine on the deck. And she introduced him to hers, community dance showcases in parking lots, potlucks at her studio where parents brought homemade dishes and told stories in 3 languages, late-night rehearsals where she choreographed pieces that made him understand why she loved this art so fiercely. 2 worlds, colliding and blending. Lily blossomed. She called Sofia by her first name now, no more Mississippi. She showed her report cards first, asked her opinion on outfits, whispered secrets that made them both giggle. One evening, tucking Lily into bed, Marcus heard her say something that stopped him in the doorway. "Sofia?" "Yeah, sweetie? I love you." Sofia's eyes widened, then filled with tears. "I love you too, Lily. So much. Do you think Mommy would like you?" Sofia's voice shook. "I hope so. I think she'd be glad someone's taking care of you and your dad. She would. Because you make Daddy smile again." Marcus had to walk away before they heard him crying. He proposed on a Saturday morning at the beach. No grand production, no photographers or flash mobs. Just the 3 of them walking barefoot in the sand, Lily collecting shells while the sunrise painted everything gold. Marcus had carried the ring for 2 weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. But watching Sofia teach Lily how to find intact sand dollars, listening to their laughter mix with the crash of waves, he realized the perfect moment was just this, ordinary, beautiful, real. "Sofia." She turned, wind catching her hair. He dropped to one knee right there in the wet sand, Lily gasping beside him. "I spent 3 years thinking my story was over," he said, voice steady despite his racing heart. "Then you walked into my life with the wrong luggage and the right heart. You taught me that love doesn't replace what we've lost, it reminds us we're still alive. That we still deserve joy." He opened the box. A simple band with a single diamond that caught the light like captured sunlight. Sofia Reyes, will you marry me? She was crying and laughing at once, nodding before he finished speaking. Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Lily cheered, throwing shells in the air like confetti as Marcus slid the ring onto Sofia's finger and kissed her while the ocean sang around them. They married 6 months later in a garden overlooking the bay. Small, intimate, perfect. Sofia wore a dress the color of champagne, flowers woven through her hair. Lily stood as maid of honor in a matching dress, carrying a bouquet she'd helped arrange. When Marcus saw Sofia walking toward him, his breath caught. Not because she looked beautiful, though she did, but because she looked happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy. And so was he. The vows were simple. Promises to choose each other daily, to build something new while honoring what came before, to create a family from love and honesty and faith. When the officiant pronounced them married, Lily threw her arms around them both, creating a tangle of embraces and laughter. "We're a family now," she declared. "A real family." Sofia kissed the top of her head. "We've been a family for a while, sweet girl. This just makes it official." 1 year later, Marcus stood on the balcony of their new home, not the mansion, but a smaller house in Coral Gables with a yard for Lily to dance in and space for Sofia's studio. Inside, music played. Lily was showing her baby sister, 3-month-old Grace Sofia Chen, how to clap on rhythm. Sofia laughed from the kitchen, calling out that dinner was almost ready. The sun set over Miami in shades of orange and pink, the kind of sky that made promises. Marcus thought about the luggage mix-up that started everything. About $20,000 returned without question. About a dancer who chose integrity over easy solutions. About how one honest choice by a woman he hadn't known led to everything worth knowing. Life was full again. Not because the pain was gone, but because there was room for joy alongside it. He went inside, wrapping his arms around Sofia from behind as she stirred something on the stove. "Happy?" she asked, leaning into him. "More than I ever thought I'd be again." She turned in his arms, kissing him softly. "Good. Because this is just the beginning." And as Lily's laughter echoed through the house and baby Grace cooed in her bassinet, Marcus realized Sofia was right. This wasn't an ending. It was the start of everything. The kind of story that begins with a mistake and ends with a miracle. Where the wrong bag led to the right person. Where honesty opened doors that money never could. And where a broken man learned that the heart has infinite capacity to heal, if we're brave enough to let it. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about love, betrayal, and redemption. Have you ever had to make an impossible choice for your own well-being? Share your story in the comments below. This is a judgment-free zone. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message about choosing courage over comfort, share this video with them. Remember, you're stronger than you think, and you are not alone.